So year 3, we're going to start looking at a new story that's going to help us with our learning and our new topic about the Romans. Now I'm going to read a story in a moment, but I've done one of my mystery stories where you're not going to see the pictures just yet, and we're going to use some of our active reading skills today. I hope you remember some of them. I'm going to go through what they mean quickly now in case you've forgotten, because we haven't been at school for a while, and I'll show you some of the ones that you're going to be focusing on with your learning today. Okay, so we've got this one, our crystal ball. Can you remember what it is? It's our prediction skill. So our skill of predicting what might happen next in a story, but based on what we already know. Then we've got this one, our thoughts and questions. So our thoughts and questions that pop into our head as we're reading something new. We've got this one, the magnifying glass, being a detective. So this is about the inferences we can make. So looking at the clues that are there and working out what they mean. We've got this one, a paintbrush, where we paint a picture in our mind as we're reading, or visualising is the posh word for that one. And then a favourite of ours, we've got our zap, our word zapper. So any words that we don't know, we can zap them as we read and try and work out what they mean. Now I'm going to be using some of these as I'm reading today, but the ones that you're focusing on after I've read this story to you are going to be these ones. So you're going to be trying to do some predictions after we've read a little bit of the story today. You're going to be doing some visualising, painting a picture in your mind, and you're going to be doing some word zapping. So let's get going. Our new story that we're going to be looking at is this one, Spartacus, and it's by an author called Russell Punter. But you know, I like to do this sometimes. I've covered up the front cover because I don't want to give you too many clues. That's your job for today. You're going to be using some of the clues to help you visualise. So I'm going to read you just a very short bit of the story today, but all the pictures are covered up because you're going to be doing some visualising. Now, what I really like about this story is that it feels like a made-up story. But actually, there's some historical evidence that some of these things are believed to have happened when the Romans were taking over and building their Roman Empire. And I really like this bit at the end of the book here, where it says Spartacus and the Romans. It gives you a bit of more information, but this bit I really like. How do we know about Spartacus? Much of Spartacus's life is a mystery. What we do know comes largely, mostly, from the works of two Greek historians. And these are the names of the two Greek historians. So they were writing about Spartacus at that time. So between 46 and 120 BC, and between 95 and 165 BC. And it says the story in this book is just one of the possible versions of events. So someone's written about this, a historian has, so it's believed to have happened, which is quite exciting. So I'm going to get started. Spartacus. Now already you might want to do a bit of word zapping on that Spartacus. Let's have a look at it more closely in the story. Spartacus was marched through the Roman slave market. Well, we can word zap Spartacus there because it's got a capital letter at the start of it. So it must be the name of something or someone. If it's somebody being marched, then we know it's a person. Spartacus was marched through the Roman slave market, the rough ropes on his arms cutting into his skin. I've already got a thought and question of you. Why are the ropes cutting into his skin? It sounds like he's been tied up. Sounds like he's been marched somewhere. So what has he done? It was a sweltering summer's day just over 2,000 years ago. I'm going to use my inferring skills there. If it's over 2,000 years ago, I'm thinking this story is set in Roman times. Spartacus had been brought to the market in Naples by a Roman soldier named Quintus. Now that word Naples, you might need to word zap it, you might not know what Naples is, but we can see it's got a capital letter, so we know it's the name of a place. You've heard that word Naples before. I'm just going to quickly go back to the beginning of the book because there's a handy map. Do you remember the Bay of Naples that we looked at before when we were looking at Mount Vesuvius? So here's the country Italy, which is in Europe, and Italy is really easy to spot because it's in the shape of a boot. And we've got Rome here. We've learnt about what modern Rome looks like, and you've learnt about the Colosseum, which is still somewhere you can visit in Rome. And then if we come further down here, there's two more cities, and I know they're cities because they've got big black dots by them, and we've got Naples. Then we've got a bit of land that curves inwards, so we know that's the Bay of Naples. So there's beach areas there's a coastline, and then here there's a grey triangle to show that it's a mountain, and it says Mount Vesuvius. So we know all about this from when we were learning about Pompeii and read the story Escape from Pompeii. Right, back to the story. I'll reread this bit to you. In fact, I'm going to reread from the beginning, just so we're back into the story. Sold into slavery. Spartacus was marched through the Roman slave market, the rough ropes on his arms cutting into his skin. It was a sweltering summer's day, just over 2,000 years ago. You'll notice I've covered up the pictures here because I want you to do the visualising. I hope you're painting a picture in your head at the moment about the Roman slave market and Spartacus being marched through it. Spartacus had been brought to the market in Naples by a Roman soldier named Quintus. Quintus is the name of another soldier. Removing the ropes, Quintus shoved his prisoner before a sly-looking man. See if you can word that, sly-looking. What sort of man is he? Well, Lentulus Batiatus, said Quintus. So these are the names of people. They've got Roman or Latin names. What do you think? Not bad, said Batiatus. This coward deserted from my legion, sneered Quintus. Now I will help you words at this word. Words at legion. And there's actually a part at the back of the book that tells you some of the tricky words. So it's a bit like a fiction book, but it's non-fiction because it's based on real things, and it's got a glossary at the back which tells us the meaning of some tricky words. So we've got here legion. So a legion is a unit of the Roman army, so that means part of the Roman army. In 73 BC, so the time when this story was taking place, there were about 5,000 soldiers in a legion. So it's a part of the army that's got about 5,000 people in it. 5,000 soldiers. So let's go back to this bit. This coward deserted from my legion, sneered Quintus. I'm no coward, growled Spartacus, raising his fist in anger. Again, I've covered up the pictures because I'm hoping that you are visualising as I'm reading. He has spirit, Batiatus laughed, and muscles. Shame he betrayed us, and he's no longer a soldier. But he'll make a good gladiator. I'll take him. Spartacus was thrown into a cart. It was full of men captured by the Romans from across their republic. And I'm going to stop there. I will be reading more of this story for you to help you with your work throughout the week, but I'm going to stop there for today. So you need to go to your files and you need to find Monday the 8th of June, and I think it's called The Story of Spartacus, and there's some activities there for you to complete.